What's good, YouTube? Back in here again with another video. It's your boy Logic, and I'm kind of responding, or it's not a direct response to me back, but a kind of like a reaction to the Fresh and Fit podcast that happened a few days ago with the redhead chick and near the end of the podcast, how she started going nuts. I don't even really feel like trying to look up her name or anything or trying to mention her because um, I know how people like to go and attack people online. She get a lot of hate, and then she starts feeling some kind of way, and then she'll try to play victim, and then she'll double down on the whole misogyny thing. And to sum up, what really happened is, Chick comes on Fresh and Fit podcast. It's about intersexual dynamics between men and women, the dating scene, the relationships between men and women, the current landscape of dating, the pros, the cons, whatever. And their show is mainly about um, telling the female audience or guests or whatever the uncomfortable truths that men are thinking about on a daily basis, stuff that they probably wouldn't tell a chick, how men think, and to some degree it could actually help them navigate the dating scene and possibly um, pick the right guy for them, whether it be they shift their standards, kind of making sure that they get a more realistic take on what they're really asking for. Is it plausible? And are you willing to deal with the circumstances that come with the type of guy you want, right? So, like I said, show went pretty well for the most part. And then, in about 2 hours in, girl makes a little backhanded comment, and then the show ended up going on for another hour. Like they were literally about to wrap the show up after 2 hours, and then it went on for another hour because she started making claims about the show. And Myron said, "Hey, look, I mean, you can have your opinion, but if you're gonna make a serious claim like that, label us a misogynistic, then you have to point out and produce evidence." You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. I mean, that's what you want. If somebody accuses you of something, make allow them to present their case, and then it's your job to refute that. But until they prove their case, obviously innocent until proven guilty type of mentality. But when we're talking about social media, um, the court of public opinion, they don't care about that. It's lynch mob mentality all the way, right? So she said something about on their Instagram, which was funny when she said that because she was just on a show for like 2 hours and she couldn't pick out anything during the show that he might have said that this she could label misogynistic. She went to the Instagram. So obviously she done her research, which I guess is commendable, but it does also show intent. Um, she wasn't on her Instagram throughout the show. She was on Instagram before the show, right? And it seemed like in what she was looking for, it was so far down. You know that your first few photos, depending on how much content you have on your Instagram, we all know that chances are people aren't going to see your first few photos on your Instagram. Like that's at the bottom, like your earlier photos, unless your Instagram is not really not that. But Fresh Fit's been around for a little bit. They got extensive photos about their lifestyle, memes, and stuff like that. So she obviously was on the hunt. You know what I'm saying? You could tell she was on the hunt. So that's my takeaway right there. She was already witch hunting, trying to look for bullshit, right? The fact that she brought something outside of the show to try to prove a point, meaning she was trying to um, um, what's the word? Discredit the show, basically. So whatever. But she pointed to a video where Myron said that after a date, if y'all make it back to your place and you start trying to make the moves on her, possibly get some sex out of it. If she denies you sex, it's within your right to end the date immediately and get a girl that will give you sex, right? No forceful, no nothing like that. Just be like, all right, obviously I thought, I got the wrong intention because we made it back to my crib. And I would say advice to all women: stop going back to men's crib if you ain't trying to smash. All right, just stop it. Stop putting yourself in that situation. All right. So basically, Myron just said, "Hey, man, if I'm trying to smash and you deny me access, then I'm gonna go get another girl who can." Now he said to pick up the phone, just call another girl, and if she happens to hear you, she's probably gonna get competition anxiety, and you tell her good day, right? That's basically it. He said chase. He said don't chase, replace. All right. She kind of focused on the chase replace stuff, but she more focused on the whole anxiety thing, which he said is competition anxiety, which is not really a real term. It's not like a medically documented term or nothing like. It's kind of one of those words that's kind of made up for a certain specific situation. You know what I'm saying? Competition anxiety. First off, the fact that you put competition in it already lessens the anxiety part, because it's a very specific anxiety, and it's actually like a healthy, I would call it probably a healthy anxiety. Like if I'm in a basketball game, and I used to do this all the time when I used to play basketball. In the earlier, it took a while, but I would get nervous and a little anxious before every game. You know what I'm saying? It kind of amps you up a little bit, kind of, whatever. But that's normal. It's nothing that you're gonna take home with you. It's nothing that you're gonna have to pop pills over. And that's basically what competition anxiety would be. It'd be like, okay, he's calling another girl, and really she would only get competition anxiety in this aspect if she really was trying to be with that dude. Like if she doesn't give a fuck about that dude, then the competition anxiety really won't serve a purpose, because the girl that he's going to replace her with, she doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? Um so she may get competition anxiety, but that's really out of our control. You know what I'm saying? Is it a tactic where you're trying to make her feel a certain way? I can influence her feelings, but I can't make her feel a certain way. Just like if I gave her a flower at the beginning of a date, I would possibly could make her happy, or maybe the flower doesn't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know. You just the end result will be the end result. Like, okay, did she like it? Did she not like it? Right? So as the debate kept going, she kept focusing on the whole anxiety thing. Talk about you talk about trying to put her in her place and make her feel anxiety. And then once they pulled up the video, he never said to put her in her place. Like she constantly repeated, "You wanted to put her in her place. You said to put her in her place." I'm like, you're straw manning, you're over exaggerating, you're putting words in his mouth, and then you're focusing on such a small part of what the whole scope of the video is. It's basically the main scope of the video is, if a girl's not gonna give you what you want, get a girl that will. That's basically the simplified version, ultimately everything. Now anything that happens in between the date and the end of the date, there was no abuse, there was no physical harm, there was no nothing. I got friends that I know, where a girl ghosted on the date, not before the date, on the date. Tell me that. Now I don't know if that guy or friend or whatever cried when he went home, felt a certain kind of way, destroyed his confidence, all types of shit. Girls will do this shit and not have no remorse on a guy's feelings, right? Literally destroy the dude. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of the date, go to the bathroom and bounce type shit, right? And we can honestly say that that's happened to more men than women, because one girl could go on multiple dates. The average girl could go on multiple dates in a week more often than a man can, because a woman's chased. So a girl could have like 6 DMs, while a guy had to fight hard just to get like 2, if he could. So just on probability, especially with the fact that there's more women in the world, and that women have more messages from the opposite gender than guys do. So chances are, yes, she's probably balance of probability. She's ran out on dates, flaked on dates, whatever, and destroyed that man's confidence. Possibly made him cry. Possibly made him question himself. And in this new day and age, probably thought about committing suicide because a lot of guys try to find their purpose through women, right? So all this that she's talking about you try to make her feel excited. I'm like, you really are, one sided. You really don't. She showed that um, the male perspective doesn't matter. All right. So, like I said, she's focused on the anxiety, putting words in his mouth, talking about put her in her place. He replayed the video, didn't say anything about that, and then brought up things like girls have what we call foodie dates, meaning that they'll put a little food emoji next to a guy's name just to know that, hey, I can use this guy for food, this, that, and the other, whatever. Um, she was trying to focus in on like the manipulation or whatever of the date or whatever. Like she wanted him to cater to her feelings even after the date's over. Like at this point, he probably doesn't plan on talking to you ever again. So really considering your feelings, outside of like putting physical harm on you or something like that, he owes you nothing. Now you want to talk about what gentlemen like to do or morally like to do, but here's the thing: you're not entitled to that either. If that's not in his character, it's not in his character. And here's the thing: some people aren't gentlemen like all the time. They find someone who's worthy. Now, here's the funny thing: throughout this podcast, I've heard plenty of women say that I'll be submissive to the right man, meaning that you have to earn the submissiveness. Well, you would have to earn his chivalry. You know what I'm saying? You know, you see a girl might have you take her on a few dates, spend some money on her, whatever, and then you earn her submissiveness. A guy could say, hey, well, when you fuck me, you'll earn my chivalry. And it would be fair because both standards, both sexes had their standards that needed to be met. Some girls ain't willing to meet that standard, and some guys ain't willing to go on like 10 dates trying to fucking get a submissive chick. Most likely a dude will bounce. You know what I'm saying? Or if he finally works his way to sex after jumping through all these hoops, he's going to bounce even harder because you made him play this dumbass game. So, the thing is, she was labeling him misogynistic, really couldn't point out anything of note. Tried to use shaming tactics, tried to talk about, I'm sorry if I'm making y'all upset or getting y'all like trying to insinuate that she knows how they're feeling. Like she's trying to say that they feel a certain way without them actually like acting or acknowledging that feeling, to try to project that to the audience. Like, look at these guys, they're really going nuts or something like that. No, they're not going nuts. Just because you say because you think they're acting a certain way doesn't, we can obviously see what's going on. Trying to like gaslight them and shit like that. And they're just like, look, we're going to hold you to the fire. If you're going to make a claim, we need you to back it up. Especially if we're going to refute it. Get out every little bit of evidence you have and we'll refute it. So it went in circles for a while. It just shows you that, like, you know what I'm saying, she had an agenda. She barely knew what misogyny means. She didn't know what misandry means, and that's funny because it just tells you that when females, I mean people in general, but females in particular, when they learn a new word, they just start throwing it out. It starts losing a meaning. And the fun thing about misogyny is that it's lightweight, hard to prove, right? It's the hatred and contempt of women, right? Here's the thing. Someone can hate a person and not hate a whole gender. Someone can hate a person and not hate the whole race. Someone can hate a person and not hate the whole sexuality. You know what I'm saying? If you see me fighting a black guy, I'm black myself, but let's say I got into an altercation where me and a black guy got into a fight. and somebody came around. I mean, it'll be a little bit ridiculous to say that I'm racist against black people because I'm black, but we're using her logic. I'm attacking a person, meaning that I'm probably mad at that person. I probably hate that person, but they do fall under some categories. He's a male and he's black. So you could say by them standards that I'm misogynistic, and I'm a racist because I'm displaying hateful acts towards a person that is black and that is male. You see how hard it is to prove a misogyny? Because that makes no fucking sense. There could be reactions to actions that person is taking that were to my disliking, that may be why I'm reacting this way. He could have said a sly comment. He could have talked about my mom. He could have bumped into me wrong, or whatever the case may be. He could have did something that riled me up, but it doesn't. It's not an indictment against the whole fucking race or gender. Just like if a guy goes out on a date, a girl isn't acting the way that he feels like she should act, and he quote unquote punishes that bad behavior by trying to replace her with another chick. These are using direct, harsh terms, but it's based. If I were to display it on a screen, it would be something that happens on a daily basis. If I cut a date short, flake on a date, that's punishment. That's a consequence. Don't focus on the words. Just focus on the meaning of the words, not the feelings behind the words, but the meaning of the words. So you could go as far as to say that he hated the girl for doing what she did because she led him on by him. First off, he spent all this money and time and effort planning and setting up the date, going to their house, trying to get comfortable, setting the mood, and then she refuses everything. The night's getting old. That means that the day was a complete waste, because it's not like, all right, she wasted my time. It's 5 p.m. I can kind of go out and go on another date. It's probably late at night. We're winding down, and then she refuses the date. You're going to feel some kind of way. All right. It's not in a man to explain his feelings or get it all into his feelings, but obviously men have this thing where if we put effort into shit, there are certain outcomes that we expect, right? So there was none of that. Obviously, Myron didn't say any of this, but we'll read in between the lines. I know he didn't want to fall into a trap, but he could have said, yeah, I felt a little upset, but it's within my right to feel upset after you go through the traditional courting of a female. You know what I'm saying? I'm spending money on you, giving you attention, time, effort, and you led me to my house where I'm thinking I'm going to get sex and I don't get it. So now, because I'm not going to use, I mean, you can use hate, and I'm going to use hate just to prove a point, but I would say he was upset. But let's say I hate the chick. All right. So I hate the chick for what she did. I don't hate all chicks for what she did. I hate this specific chick because obviously I haven't dated every chick in the world. Misogyny is the hate and contempt for women, not a woman. Because when you talk about a woman, it can be personal. Misogyny isn't personal. You know what I'm saying? You're blanketing. Misogyny is blanketing all women. All right, I hate all women. It's hard to prove that somebody hates all women unless they say so, unless they run through the streets and attack every female that comes their way or something like that. You know, random females that he has no association with. Then you can jump to that conclusion. He hates all women. He's a misogyny. He's misogynistic. But particular people can make you feel upset, and it has nothing to do with their makeup. It has nothing to do with their physical attributes, their sexuality, or nothing. It could just have something to do with the events that took place at that time. So that's why I said, that's the funny thing about misogyny, the word. It's really hard to prove. And here's the funny thing: it's not even illegal. It's not like you can go to jail for being a misogynistic. I mean, you'll probably lose out on opportunities. Like you could get fired or something if they think you hate all the women in your workplace and stuff like that, and you've shown actions that they come to believe that prove that. But it's not like it's nothing you could charge anybody with. It's very hard to prove. You know what I'm saying? Because misogyny is a hatred, meaning that it's a feeling based word, meaning that you have to prove intent and feelings inside a person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard to get into the psyche. Like, unless you're a therapist or psychoanalyst or whatever like that, you can only girls are only using that word based off their personal feelings. You know what I'm saying? Not off any real facts. So that's my whole take. Like, you might as well almost get rid of the word misogyny, because it's like you can't prove it. Really, it's really hard to prove. It's not anything illegal. It's just a shaming word. It's like saying fat. Like, it's not illegal to be fat. It hurts people's feelings when you say fat, but that's it. That's like that's it. That's what misogyny is. It's, you're just using it to try to make people feel a certain way about somebody. So, but like I said, I went on too long. But the little redhead chick, she was crazy. She doesn't even know what misandry means, which obviously shows that she doesn't study the words she uses. She just parrots her surrounding language, without really knowing. So, and she probably went to college too, so it is what it is. But this your boy Logic back in here, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.